Okay. Is the mic working? Everybody hear me? Standing at the X. Maximum. This is the most innovative must-have in the kitchen. It's called water. All right. First of all, God, I'm talented, I'm smart, and then you got me thinking like a freak. So I guess that if you're very smart, you're very talented, you're very innovative, and all these attributes, you're actually a freak. So I wonder what the normal people are like. Anyway, have you ever heard of the expression, think outside the box? Anybody? Okay, you know? You know? Or you don't seem to know? You know what a box is? Okay. All right. This is a box. And basically, that's what a cross-section of a box looks like. Cross-section. You know what a cross-section is, right? All the mathematical students here, they know what a cross-section is. Okay? All the other, everybody else studying, all the other non-applicable science probably don't know what cross-section is. So, this is a square cross-section. This is a round cross-section. So, using your freakish imagination, just imagine this is a cross-section of a box, okay? So if you spin it like that, that becomes a box, right? Right? No, that's not right. It becomes a sphere. Now, we look at ultimately what thinking outside the box means. We have in here a tennis racket. And in the middle, we call this our comfort zone. Okay? And in a tennis racket, or in any racket spot, we call this a sweet spot. All right? So when you hit the sweet spot, what happens is you have maximum control, comfort. You have maximum efficiency. Okay? So you use very little energy, and this ball comes flying. Very straight. If you go outside your comfort zone, so imagine your comfort zone is inside that box. If you go outside your comfort zone, okay, and the further you get away from it, you'll notice that you lose control, right? And you also lose efficiency. You lose energy. You notice the ball doesn't bounce as high, correct? Until you get to what we call the edge, the border, okay? Now once you get to the border of your box, what happens is, it becomes, this is a demonstration as well, so you get two shows in one, but it becomes very, very uncontrollable. Sorry? My what pack? Oh, my mic. What, you can't hear me? Oh, the receiver can't receive it. You're recording me then. Do I get in trouble for that? No, don't cover it. All right. That's definitely outside the box. Okay. So what happens is, when you get to this border, things are very unpredictable. But what happens with unpredictability, if you notice that everything becomes every shot becomes unique. And that's what you're trying to do. Now, everybody play tennis, right? Everybody play tennis here? Okay, you got one. So you notice that, you know, when you're playing really well, you're hitting a sweet spot, you're winning, right? But once in a while, you hit this, ball goes, and you win the point still. You still win the point, correct? And you almost always win the point because your opponent is completely surprised and everything is unpredictable. You may say, sorry. I don't say sorry because I say I meant it because I'm a freak. So let's go to this. So I'm explaining what it means by going or thinking outside the box. Okay? Everybody understands this? Anybody that doesn't understand? You leave the room then, okay? All right. I wrote this in the taxi on the way here, so this will be short. Taxi was only 15 minutes, so this is probably only going to be 15 minutes. Now, so what I do is extreme Chinese. Extreme because it's at the border. Extreme. Oh, one other thing. What happens if you hit outside this? What happens? The ball doesn't go anywhere. So your border or your extreme is at the edge of this box. Anything that goes outside, okay, it's not going anywhere. Remember that. Well, it's going somewhere. It's not, I mean, okay, but it's not going somewhere. That's freakish, isn't it? All right, so what I do is extreme Chinese. Extreme means extreme to the border. Okay? Right to the border. That's the maximum. Anything beyond that, it's like bungee jumping. Okay? Your extreme is the length of the rope. You go beyond that, you become a splat on the ground. So that's where you want to go. Now, extreme Chinese means experience and unique. And people ask me, why Chinese? I can tell you, where's the lid for this box? We lost the lid. Oh, the lid's here somewhere. Okay, it doesn't matter. So you lost the lid, so what do? So you just turn this around, and now you have the lid. Okay? Now that's extreme. That's freakish. That's really freakish, right? How do you get a lid? Turn the box around. So this is what I mean, okay? Things can be very, very simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. So, why extreme, why Chinese, okay? Because first of all, we are in Hong Kong, all right? And everyone here, this is part of China. And if you go beyond, let's say if I'm doing extreme Nigerian, you got to remember that I'm presenting this, and I'm not presenting this myself. The ultimate is to think out of the box and make this apply to everyone, not just yourself. So, if I do extreme Nigerian, if nobody knows, how many people knows Nigerian food here? Put your hand up. Not many, right? So if I do Nigerian even, that's already outside the box. I don't need to bring that outside the box any further, right? So this is why I bring Chinese. Now, ultimately, I'm trying to also reach a certain comfort zone. Okay? And believe me, Chinese, everyone here know where that comfort zone is. You're an expert in a comfort Chinese food. So this is why I do extreme Chinese. Now, as an engineer, people ask me, oh, you were an engineer. How did you get from an engineer? I was self-taught, and that's true. I was an engineer. I've only been doing this for a little over 10 years. And to achieve 3 Michelin star standard is pretty good, okay? But how did I achieve this? Is there a secret? Yes, I think there is a secret. Is to think outside the box, but make sure you know where the border is, and then making it recognizable, making it comfortable, so people can understand it. All right. So when you think outside the box, when you reach outside this box, when you get the maximum excitement, you're still trying to project the comfort zone from the center of the box to the edge of the box. And that's what you're trying to do. Okay? So bear in mind, okay, you're still trying to achieve comfort. So you're going from the center of the box, you're trying to move that sweet spot onto the edge. Okay? And this is how you become successful with thinking outside the box. Because you don't want the unpredictability. You want a controlled excitement. You want to win the point. If you can hit the ball on the edge every single time, that's great. You can control it. You can win. But you don't want to have hit and miss. So the object is to bring this edge outside the box and move back into the comfort zone. So it's projecting the comfort zone in here to the edge of the box. And that's what you're trying to do ultimately. Now, how does the engineering, how does Chinese food, how does all this come into parts of this? Okay, first of all, let me just give an example. Have anybody eaten a bowl innovation here? Probably nobody, because you're all students, you probably cannot afford it. But one of the dishes I have is called lap mei fan, okay? So, you know what lap mei fan is, everybody, okay? Everybody know, right? Except maybe that white over there, but anyway, everybody know what lap mei fan is, right? All right, do you know what lap mei fan is? Well, have the girlfriend or whoever next to you explain to you, okay? Is she your girlfriend? Not? Well, have her explain to you. Something can happen, you know. Now, you know, I was thinking, I had the dish at the Fat Duck, you know, and there, you know, it's a restaurant, one of the top restaurants in the world, innovative, you know, very creative, and they did a bacon egg ice cream, okay? And I was thinking, well, let's not copy it, but modify it. Remember, don't play with copy. You can modify, but always make it your own. So I said, well, first of all, you know, you got to know your comfort zone. So I analyzed that particular dish, you know, it's a bacon flavor ice cream. So you find the DNA for that dish because you have to pick that DNA, that building block, okay, to make it a hybrid to expand on it. So I thought, well, ice cream is comfortable, it's cold, it has eggs, it has milk, it's fatty, it's sweet, bacon is smoky. And then what was the other secret? It was served in England. Okay, and I say, why bacon egg ice cream? Well, you know, it has all the elements of bacon and eggs, you know, in ice cream. You have egg, you have the smokiness of the bacon, but I thought, why that particular dish? And then I saw, well, you know, in England, everybody here has been to England, one of the most common, one of the favorite comfort food is a fry-up English breakfast, okay? So I thought, if you're going to copy or you're going to make that dish your own, in Hong Kong, you want to do a dish that everybody's comfortable with. Everybody knows this dish. So this is why I picked lap mei fan. Because everybody has it. You have it in the winter, you have it in the summer, you have it for lunch, you have it for dinner, you have it for late night snack. All right? And this is why I chose it. Now, why? Now you go for the profile, the taste profile. Okay, lap mei fan, you know, lap chum is a little bit sweet. Okay, so you can put that into ice cream, no problem. All right, and then, okay, what else is in there? You have rice, okay? So you make that a bit crispy. So everybody had a crispy coating on ice cream, no problem, okay? And then I said, well, you know, look, you got the mui guai lo. So this is one of the major components of lap mei, all right? So, and I thought, you know, what am I going to do with that? So I said, why don't I just do a baked Alaska? So end up, I make it into baked Alaska with lap mei ice cream, put a meringue in, use some mui guai lo, put a flame in it, and then voila, you know, this becomes a hit dish. Now why? Because everybody understands it. Two, because everybody, you know, you begin to, it's a dish you can easily explain to people. And three, because it tastes good. It has all the components of fat, sweet. So what you do, it's out of the box, it's out of nowhere. The original dish is savory, you made it into a dessert. The original dish was hot, you made it cold. But at the end of the day, it tastes good. And this is, you know, you can say it's out of the box. For me, it's a simple no-brainer. So this is what you have to do. When you think outside the box, you have to start with something you know, okay, before you can go out of the box. Because if you're not inside that comfort zone, if you don't know that about that dish, you cannot come out of the box. So this is one advice I would give you. We have 4 more minutes left. I'm not going to go over. All right, next one. All right, you know, let me tell you about the difference between creativity and innovation. When you think outside the box, and as I said, you're supposed to stay within the border. So creativity has no limits, okay? So that idea can be anywhere here. It could be here, 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 it could be anywhere. But what innovation does, and that's where part of my engineering background comes in, is we bring this and shift it somehow back into this area. So we make it feasible. We make it workable. So your ideas, when you think of ideas, you can be thinking way outside the box. But at the end of the day, ultimately, to make it work, to make it mass appeal, you have to bring it back within that. And that is what we call innovation. Okay? And that is very, very simple. Now finally, how did I get started 10 years ago? Well, how did I become self-taught? Okay? Well, basically, I enjoy cooking. As a child, I watched a lot of TV. And I just caught the bug. It was fun. I watched a lot, I watched a lot of shows like Alvin Leung, Gourmet, Martin Yang, which I bet you nobody in this room know, except maybe this old guy over here. And it was fun. And this is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to have fun, because when you're having fun, you become very productive. Now, when I was watching the show and all that, and doing this 10 years ago, I did not have the advantage of one of these, a smartphone. Okay? If I wanted the recipe, I had to search books, maybe ask other chefs. But nowadays, to be innovative, to be creative, you have a very, very powerful tool called a smartphone. Okay? This is called information, instant information. But is that an advantage or disadvantage of creativity? I see it as somewhat an advantage, because you can get all your information instantaneously. You have a lot more to work with, because your scope becomes, or your library becomes much, much bigger. But it can be also a disadvantage, because nowadays everybody, when they're eating, drinking, going to the bathroom, they're always, playing around with their iPhone. Looking at, searching for information, looking at more information, maybe talking to your girlfriends, cheating exams. Nobody's laughing at that one. And sometimes you say to yourself, the problem with this is that all the information you get here around the world is right within that parameter of the box. And you have to somehow get out to the creativity part, okay? Because that's very important. Why is it important to go into the creative part? Because I said, this is in a twilight zone. It's no use. It's a miss, right? When I was hitting with the tennis racket. Everybody correct? I said it's a miss. So why do you want to get into this zone? Okay? It's because this tennis racket is going to grow. And it's going to get bigger. Okay? So what was here in years' time could be back on the border zone. Okay? So you have a lot of these great innovators, okay, like Gates, who saw, back then what internet, when everybody thought it was impossible. But if he was sticking to the border back then, there would be no internet. So what happened was he was thinking here back then, and then what happens is now it gets into here. In fact, now this racket has expanded so much that at the internet stage, it was out here, it became here when the racket grew, and now it's actually shifting into, the racket's gotten so big, it's now at the sweet spot, okay? So it's very important to actually go out, because in time, things will change. And it's very important. Now, how do you do that? How do you do that? Well, I would say, first of all, sometimes, just stay away from that iPhone. Stay away from your smartphone. Sit down. Have some free time. Have some silence. Have some time to imagine things. What's happening is everybody's reality TV, your smartphone, everything. Everybody is now in the reality world. You have to shift away from that to the imaginary world. Or else, when this comes, you will still be down here. So finally, 19 minutes and 30 seconds. So I'm 10 minutes off. When you say freak, I'm thinking, how a freak can think outside the box. This is technically not true, because a freak is someone that's already outside the box. So that's not someone inside the box. So when you think like a freak, or when you are a freak, you are not actually thinking outside the box, you're already there. So what you're trying to do is not think like a freak, but be like a normal person inside this box and come out to the edge and think freakishly. Okay? And finally, how do you think like a freak? A guy who's crazy, right? So you think a box like this, and you go. That's how you think like a freak.